the pipes come up under through the concrete. You spray it all over the house. It's not going to hurt you, and as long as it stays dry, it'll be effective forever. And once it gets in the wood, soaks into the wood, the termites won't eat it.
So what about if you're already built? I mean,
if you're already built, that's even tougher. You can go through the sheetrock and you can squirt the boric acid in. But the best thing to do is beneficial nematodes around the house at least twice a year. At least twice a year. Now, there's bait stations that professionals use, and you can put those, they dig a hole in the ground and they put a bait in there and they come and monitor it once a month, and it costs about $400 a year for them to do that. If you just put out $400 worth of nematodes, you're much better off than trying the bait stations, because the nematodes will kill them.
and what a nematode, where do you get some
Beneficial
like that?
nematodes, Gardenville has them. They can be ordered. Pardon?
Shades of green, you sent
New Braunfels feed.
New Braunfels stone.
New Braunfels stone supply, they'll have them.
They don't take care of fire ants too, do they? With the nematodes?
Not that well.
Not that way.
Yeah, I poured a bunch of them on before just to see what happened, and the mound just gets up and moves.
Well, that's just like that
It kills-
diatomaceous earth, that's all that does too.
Well, it kills some, but it doesn't kill
I
enough,
never
and
had
then you never get to the queen.
No.
So you have to get to the queen. If you don't get the queen, you're wasting your time.
The boric acid you're talking about, is that the same as the 20 mule team you can pick up in the store, or is this?
What I would do is there's something called roach proof, which is 99% boric acid,
Okay,
and it costs like $1 for a squeeze bottle.
roach proof.
Yeah, and I would buy that one. That's the cheapest boric acid. You can buy pharmaceutical grade boric acid. You can buy 20 mule team boric acid. The cheapest you can buy is the roach proof.
Where'd you get that?
Yeah. Just about any pharmaceutical will have it. Grocery store. Yeah, it's the least toxic. In fact, boric acid can be used as an eye wash. If your child gets it, unless they just take the whole bottle down, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to get diarrhea. Really bad case of diarrhea.
Dave, I had a thought. When you're talking about putting the boric acid in the walls, I know that they have people that will go through and drill holes and actually do all that.
Yes.
What if you would just go through and maybe pull your outlet cover off and squirt in?
Yeah, that only gets
I know it's just
one
one area.
16-inch section.
I know it's just one area, but it's a lot easier, a whole lot cheaper, I'm sure, than having all those holes plugged in your house.
No, it's not effective, because
Wouldn't
I've
be
done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone in, pulled out all the covers, put it behind there, and seal the covers with the non-toxic sealant. Slam it back on, screw it in, and still got
term.
termites. Yeah, if you're building a house, that's the best way to do it. Just
Yeah, well, how about if you just, when the sheetrock's down, and this is what my builder told me, and I went and got the boric acid,
Great.
and I just, before they put the sheetrock,
Yeah,
dry,
all this stuff.
and put it all in, all in through the walls.
That's great.
Was it, okay.
Yeah, when they run into boric acid, they immediately stop and
That's
go
what he
back.
said, man, they'll just see him
You
dead.
can do that with diatomaceous earth too, right? As you're building?
Yeah, but the boric acid's the most important. In fact, that's why I'd rather pump it on and get it actually soak into the wood. Because once it's in the wood, they're not going to bother it at all. If it's
No.
on top of the wood, they'll eat till they get to that point.
Do you liquefy it or how do you spread?
You put it, mix it with water.
What?
What's the solution or the, it's like a
As
one-to-one?
heavy as you can make it.
Okay, so like a
And
one,
you want to be able, just to be able to, when you pump it up and squirt it out, it's still coming through.
okay,
If it's not coming through, then you've got it too thick, you just dilute it more with water.
okay.
And you have to keep shaking it when you're spraying, because this stuff will settle to the bottom. But you want to make it as heavy as possible. And it really works well. I've done this with many, many homeowners and we've never had any termites. And we put mulch, native mulch around the house, and that's like, come here, termites. So you put a lot of mulch around the house, you're inviting termites. And so the other thing you do is either put down the nematodes on a regular basis, or you put the boric acid in the walls. And so, but it's even worth it. If you've ever had termites in a home, it's worth it to go through and punch holes in every one of those every 16 inches, because you got a stud 16 inches or 24, whatever your stud spacing is, and then take the liquid and shoot it in.
No, should you do it like at eye level?
No, you do it
ground
right
level?
down close to the base,
Okay.
because they start eating at ground level and they work their way up. And I've treated houses before with poisons that I wouldn't live in the house. I wouldn't buy their house. I wouldn't live there. But and both husband and wife got cancer. And I don't know if it's from the diatomaceous earth, but I mean the poison that we use. But I don't recommend that at all. Not at all. Glad you looked it up. Yes, ma'am.
What about millipedes?
Millipedes and centipedes. The easiest thing, this is going to sound funny, take a board and throw it on the ground.
A board?
A wooden board. And then you pick up the board every morning, you take your foot, and you stomp them all dead. Really, it works.
Well, our exterminator says they're attracted to light, you know, to keep the lights on. Don't turn the lights on.
Well, millipedes and centipedes are around all the time. And it doesn't matter whether you have lights on or not. I mean, if you've got landscape, you're going to have millipedes and centipedes coming around.
And we have a lot of mulch.
Well, the best thing I can say is the board works.
Okay.
There's also copper poisons that you can use, but those are not general to the landscape and not to the environment. Millipedes and centipedes are doing a good job. They're breaking down
I
organic.
just don't like them in my house. When my grandkids come over, they say, "Grandma, those wormies are on the floor again."
Well, then the thing, if they're inside the house, then you need to fill in the cracks that are letting them come in. If you can find where they're coming in at, usually it's underneath the door sill, and you need to put a better spacing on it, some kind of sealer that's front and back. They don't like to crawl over plastics, and this is one place you could use a copper strip. Put it in front of your door sill, and they typically won't walk over a copper strip. But any place that they're coming in the house, if you've got a brick house or more, yeah, you've got little spaces between the bricks right there at the slab. Go in there and take either some plastic type scrub, what do they call them, scouring pads.
Scotch pad.
Pardon?
Scotch pad.
Yeah, scotch pads, scouring pads, either plastic or metal, but the plastic works better because it rusts and stays longer. And just poke it until you can't poke it through anymore, and fill those up. You can put boric acid in those, but every time it rains, you got to go out and put out more boric acid. But that's where they're getting in and go all over the house. And if you stop them from getting in at those points, you pretty much eliminated them coming into the house.
For
Yes,
fire
ma'am.
ants, you mentioned the conserve.
Conserve.
Spinosad?
Yeah, that's a real good product. It contains spinosad.
Now that's in granule form, is it?
There's granule and liquid.
And you just spray that, I mean, drop it on the ground.
Drop it on the ground.
Get
They
drunk
pick
and
it
go
up.
wander around the yard.
Yeah, have 2 or 3 drinks before you go out.
Oh, is that the name, is that what you were talking about?
Conserve or
Conserve.
spinosad. It shows up as either names. Conserve or spinosad. Yes, sir.
I know wasps are mostly beneficial, but what about when you absolutely have to get rid of a nest or get rid of the flying creatures?
Yeah, if you want to get rid of wasps, the best thing to do is mix up soap and water. And early in the morning, the earlier in the morning the better, basically before sunrise, go out and spray it, and you concentrate the spray on the wasp. They come off the nest, take the nest off and throw it away or move it someplace else.
Just soap, just regular dish soap?
Just soap, yeah.
I haven't
They
been
can't
like-
fly,
Well, that's true.
and so then they drop to the ground, and you can pick off their nest. What Malcolm Beck does is he takes them, picks it off, and uses a thumbtack and goes and puts it someplace else. And
Thumbtack. I was waiting how you attached it again.
yeah. And then the wasps find the nest, and so they continue. As long as it's out of the way, it's not a big problem.